Assalamu alaikum. My name is Amar bin Azwan and I am one of the candidates for SRC. I was given the question of what are the challenges that students face in this online learning and what are my suggestions on how to face this problem. So firstly, based on my own personal experience, I can say that online learning is the hardest hurdle in my road to SPM. Logically, it would seem that online learning would be the best option because not only will students have less distractions from school and friends, they have more time to self-study and they can think more properly about their own future. But that is not the case. That is totally not the case. The case is that they have tons of distractions from in the house. They have less interaction with students, so they have some mental health problems, and they can understand the topics learned in online class. So there is many problems that students have while online learning. So I've conducted a small survey with some of the students and I've collected the main problems that they have faced while learning online. So let's talk about the first one. I will also give my suggestions and how to face this problem. So firstly, it may seem minuscule at first, but it's a big problem for many students, which is that they have bad internet. It may seem like a small problem, but it's actually very important because not only will it be hard for the students to respond to the teacher or open their cams, it will also make it hard for them to learn the topic. So in doing so, will not only make them reluctant to enter class, but they will not focus because they know that the internet will lag every time they open their class. So my solution for this is a very simple and logical solution, which is ask your parents to buy a new Wi-Fi router or buy monthly data. It may seem like a hefty amount to spend just for online class, but it's the best option. It's a better investment for the student to focus diligently. So secondly, this one have been popping up in the survey, which is they have two: one, distraction, and second, procrastination. So regarding distraction, they said that they are very distracted using their phones while having online class or playing games while having online class. As for procrastination, they said that they have dozens of homework not done yet and they can't do it because they don't know how to do it, because they learn it online doesn't necessarily mean they know how to do it. So how do we face this problem? So the only solution that I can think of and what I've done is that a trial and error of schedulizing. So let's say, for example, a student will sleep anytime they want because they know that tomorrow and the next day and the next day they don't have to go to school because they don't need their parents to ask them to send them to school. So because the school is online, right? So they can sleep anytime they want. 1 a.m., 2 a.m. It's their choice. In doing so, not only will they miss their prayers, their subuh prayer, they will also skip the first session, even second session, if possible. And even if they enter the first session, it's not like they're gonna focus. So what they are doing is just wasting their time entering that class if you're not gonna focus. But keep in mind, if you make a schedule, like the best schedule you could think of, does not necessarily mean you will follow that schedule. I've tried many times, again and again and again, tried to make the most flexible schedule, a simple schedule, which I could follow, which prioritizes my school and learning, and also the me time. So try to be flexible and try to be reasonable when making that schedule. So the last problem that people keep saying is that they just don't like online learning in general. So what they are facing is that they don't want to adapt. They don't want to adapt to this online learning. They think it's not beneficial for them. They think that only physical class will make them study. So they they don't even accept online class to begin with. That's why they don't attend class. They don't do their homeworks. They procrastinate. They always play games. That's what they are facing right now. But we can't. There's nothing else we can do. We can't, in this era of COVID, we can't complain. So what we can do is try to make the best out of the situation. Make a schedule. Take better care of your health, your physical and mental health. Don't try to make excuses. Do your homework and act properly, because we are students of Sri Aisha Islamic. I will keep my manifesto simple and concise, trying not to drag it out. Now, firstly, my first manifesto will be about the issues surrounding co-curricular marks. As we all know, this year we've barely been participating in any competitions, events, MSSD, or any general outside activities which contributes with our co-curricular marks. Furthermore, field trips and camps are non-existent for the past 2 years due to COVID and PDPR. How do we find the positive in this situation? I believe our school has not been active in making students participate in these events. I believe the increase and compulsory need for students to enter an online event is needed. A great example would be the BioCalifs event that was held for the Form 4 and Form 5 students. These events would either be held by the school, any other NGOs or universities, and should be participated by all secondary and primary students if possible. I believe some events should be held by the school, for example, trivias, quizzes, making videos, anything of the sort. It will be a win-win situation for both organizers and the students. I also believe we should bring back the school events as much as possible, such as Bahasa Melayu Week, Math Week, Arabic Week, as I feel there is a disconnection between the school and the students if time were to continue. So them participating in these events will make the students feel that they are contributing to the school. But also, this will contribute to the school's image to the outsiders and parents. They will know more about our school through the next glory book, which will showcase all these events by the students. As for post-PDPR, I believe physical events should be held similar to what I've been telling earlier. If possible, charity sales held by Daiza and the secondaries, young entrepreneur events which even the primary can participate in, LST donation events, and many other events can be held. My second manifesto would be having some school equipment upgrades if wanted, and the wanting and addition of more clubs. This is because I believe that clubs are very scarce in our school. I believe that students can choose to make their own clubs based on the list that is given. For example, they can make their own club with a supervised teacher. They can make an art club, business club, environmental club. They can do all of that. I wish for the students to explore what they have in their youth. There are many other ideas that I have, but these are my main points. And the student council will lend a helping hand to anybody if they have any suggestions or ideas. If I was chosen, I believe I can produce great results, great and realistic results. My name is Amar bin Azwan. Thank you, and vote for me.
In my opinion, it is very valid and wise strategy of the ministry to prioritize vaccination for candidates sitting for SPM, SDPM, including other major exams like IGCSE, A-levels, etc. It only makes sense to me as a student sitting for major examinations this year that we, including students who are at least a year away from exams, are prioritized for the vaccination. That way we can get back on track and return to a safe and healthy environment for full capacity in-person learning. I'm sure we're all aware of the effectiveness of online classes compared to physical classes. Students, especially on the year they are taking the exam, should be able to focus fully on studying for the examinations instead of worrying about the safety of themselves and others in this pandemic. They should also be in a learning environment to fully absorb lessons and info provided by teachers. More importantly, we should be able to have access to resources provided at school like libraries, labs, direct contact with teachers that we wouldn't have at home. It's just not the same. By prioritizing vaccination of these students, we can guarantee the safety and health of the students while in the examination hall sitting for the exams. Speaking of examination halls, vaccinated students wouldn't have to worry about how much risk they are putting themselves and others through by simply being in a confined area with many others, aka the examination hall. They would be able to channel their focus entirely on the exam. It's about being adamant to thorough education. As cheesy as it may sound, we are the future of the country, and if proper education is not a priority from the start, then I don't know what else to say. It speaks for itself. I believe the vaccination would be an investment for the right future of the country. This, above all, supports flattening the curve of positive COVID-19 cases that are exponentially increasing by the day. Thus, I strongly agree with the proposal made by the Ministry of Education to put students on prioritization for the vaccine. Hi everyone, my name is Tasneem. I'm signed to be elected as part of the Student Representative Council. I'm a grade 10 student and I've been attending Sri Aisha for the past 6 years. This year makes it the 6th year. Within the past 5.5 years, this school has provided a lot for me and I would like to give back. As you all know, we are still facing big challenges due to the pandemic, and we have been since last year, whereby we have to adapt to new norms, new ways of studying, and no more hands-on activities like Ramadan charity or Merdeka projects. And they used to be events that we all looked forward to. It was a challenge also for all of us to adapt the transition from physical classes to online classes, though a lot of events were put on hold. Before this, I would say I was pretty involved in a lot of the events that were held in Sri Aisha. With a lot of things happening online now, I want to make sure that online classes are not seen as something that's getting in the way of the synergy between students, and we can still have that feeling of connection or togetherness even through online classes. I would like to put together more events that are accessible for students via online platforms and ensure that there is inclusion of students in the activities organized. I would also like the school to be the foundation to organize a platform where we can collectively spread awareness about topics that don't necessarily have much coverage by the media. By collectively doing this, we can make sure there is plenty of communication between students and can build the skills they can benefit from in the future. As your representative on the council of this school, I would aim to ensure that 1. You're given the freedom and opportunity to raise your concerns and or express your opinions regarding matters of the school to the council. 2. You are properly represented and well informed of the decisions made by the council that are of benefit to you. 3. I will do my best to work together with all of you and the school to be more flexible in ways to improve our studies and provide more platforms for students' views to be brought to light. With this manifesto, in order to deliver upon these aims, I will use my previous experience as a prefect during my years as an 8th and 9th grader. I will also use the skills developed over the years of taking part in many of the events held in Sri Aisha. As well as this, I encourage you to enlighten me of what I can do to improve your experience during or at school because you know best what changes you would like to see. I would be honored to represent you during the coming year and to be given the opportunity to make a positive impact on your high school experience. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Marsya binti Muhammad Zamri, and I was one of the candidates elected to be president. So, I will start with my question. Okay, my question is, with the ongoing distress and issue rising from social isolation brought by COVID-19, the number of suicide attempts has increased in Malaysia. What do you think will be the best solution or approach that the student can do to help a friend from having the suicidal thought or attempting suicidal act? Okay, so for my answer is, as a student, one of my solution is to always give them a word for encouragement. By doing so, inshallah, it can lift their spirit. Also, be a good listener for them. Be by their side so they don't feel marginalized. Avoid arguing with friends so as not to add more pressure to them. Other than that, we can avoid forcing them to tell their problem. So we should be patient and wait for our friend to express their feeling to us. Make them, dia ready untuk cakap dengan kita. So So lastly, I think we can also, from my experience, I think we can also advise them to seek professional treatment, such as the psychologist, or minta bantuan daripada keluarga mereka. I will move to my manifesto. I have 2 points in my manifesto. My first point is do co-curricular activity at home so the student become more active. Make sure that every co-curricular must be more than 12 meeting or attendance so that every student can have higher co marks. Co-curricular activity are very important, especially for secondary school, because these co-curricular marks are used for students to enter a great university of their choice. After that, it also can help students at home to become more active physically and mentally. This because during PKP, students spend more time in their room due to the busy class time. After class, they have to complete the work given by their teacher. Each of the students spend their time in the room and they do not leave the room. This is not a healthy thing for the student because it can weaken their body, thereby to make the student feel pressure. So this co-curricular can keep students active and can reduce student stress by releasing their brain from class and work they need to complete. Second point is to make more program for students to join, whether at school or home. By participating in this program, not only students can add marks to AJSK, but it can make students more motivated to learn. This is because during online class, students are more likely to spend their time in their room or desk and not move anywhere. So with this program, it can make students move and not just sit in one place. In addition, it can also add a sense of fun to learn for them because it can create interesting activities provided by the program. With this, students will always be in active and fit state. When the body and mind are active, then the knowledge is easy to enter their brain. So that's all for my manifesto. So keep safe. Bye.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Hanim and I will be presenting to you my manifesto and also answering a question that Teacher Fiza and Ustad Fauzan have presented to you. First of all, I think us as Muslims, we have the responsibility of getting to know what is happening with Palestine, as our brothers and sisters of the same religion are living there, and also our third most holiest site in Islam, the Al-Aqsa Mosque, is there, and I think it is part of our duty to protect the people who are protecting it. First and foremost, we should educate ourselves thoroughly with what's happening in Palestine. There are many Instagram accounts that are explaining what's happening in Palestine, and I think we should check them out from time to time, as it is a part of our duty and we should know about our brothers and sisters who are fighting for what they deserve, their human rights. After educating ourselves, we should be educating others about this topic. How so do we do that? How do we raise awareness? There are 3 ways I have come across, which are to use social media to educate others, and also to use the institutional platform to talk about these things, and also having community talks with our friends, family and peers. According to a Cambridge University study by Caroline Hone, Olga Obganova and E.J. Miller-Gulland, they said that raising awareness have increased change in attitude and ultimately behavioral intention. So what does it mean by behavioral intention? Behavioral intention means our own reason why we fight for these people. In Islam, it is encouraged that we always have good intentions in doing everything that we do. In situations like these, we should take our right to fight as a form of jihad. I believe us as humans, this topic can be a hard and a heavy topic to talk about, as this is about war and about lives of people, so it can be heavy and it could be hard for us to have conversations about this. But I think that if we put on good intentions and think of this as a form of jihad and doing it for Allah, and also for doing it for our brothers and sisters who are suffering in our holy site. So think of it as this: when we are posting something on social media regarding this topic, do it for Allah. When we're talking about this to our friends and family, do it for Allah. When we talk about this with good intentions and doing it for Allah, inshallah, Allah will make it easier for us to talk about it, and inshallah, ease your burden. Thirdly, I understand that as students ages 12 to 17, we do not have access to banking and online bank accounts and also online banking in general. So I believe that donations, we should leave it for adults to do. However, what is there for us to do as students is to encourage our parents, our family members, and also our aunts and uncles to donate to Palestine. I have divided my manifesto to two main points. One, for making mental health a bigger concern, and second, to encourage better public speaking skills and communication skills among our students. I understand that ever since the start of the pandemic, we are all going through a hard time. Not just students, but also our teachers, our parents, and everyone around us. This has affected our productivity levels, our motivation has went plummeting down, and our stress levels have gone way up. This is due to the rapid change of reality, isolation, and lack of physical contact with our friends and the people that we miss in general. So let me introduce you what mental health is. Mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and also our social well-being. All these three things affects the way we think, how we act, how we feel, and also how we handle stress and how we relate and act with each other. Statistics have shown that 63% of students have said that their mental health has deteriorated ever since the start of the pandemic. And this is just students. We do not know about the statistics of our teachers, our parents, and also the people that are around us. This is why I believe that mental health, proper mental awareness and concern helps not only improve the quality of education that we get from school, but also just for our whole well-being that affects our future. So if I were to become SRC president, I will raise more concerns and awareness around such a taboo topic, which I think is so fundamental for our futures and academic future as students who are age. Such a prime time for us to be studying and make most out of the education that we get from school. So how so will I do that? I will encourage in communication in all forms, which is verbal, non-verbal, written, and also visual. I will reinforce better class schedules as everyone has an unfixed daily schedule at home. You could be having classes at 2 p.m. while still having lunch. So I will try to make our classes more flexible and also more adaptable to our students and also our teachers. I also believe that homework does not always have to be hard. I think learning can come in all forms, such as quizzes or Kahoot. I believe it is important that students learn not for academic obligations, but to pursue their passions and their dreams for their future. Secondly, to encourage better public speaking and communication skills among students. I believe that public speaking and communication skills are very important skill sets to have after school. It is important to have in university life and also our career lives onwards. When I was in grade 7 until 9, I was in Dar Izzah, where I was taught to speak publicly, and it really has affected me positively in life, where I am able to talk to people and no anxiety and stress and any pressure towards me to speak. And I believe that every student in our school should have that. I believe that every student needs to be equipped with good public speaking and communication skills to equip themselves for the future. So how will I do that? First and foremost, creating a safe environment between teachers and students is the biggest first step. By raising concerns of mental health, we are able to identify symptoms of anxiety and fear when talking in front of public. When we are able to recognize these symptoms, we are able to cope with them better. My two manifestos go hand in hand. When we are able to identify anxiety, it is easier for us to understand why students are reluctant to speak in front of class. So creating a safe environment is fundamental in making sure that our students get proper public speaking skills. Next, I will expose our students to great speakers for them to become as role models, such as Barack Obama and Oprah Winfrey, that will help give them motivation and confidence in speaking in real life. And finally, to encourage reassurance between teachers and students in classes. I believe that this is so important in making sure that the students are having a good time studying. It ultimately creates a safe space for students to learn and have a good time studying, even though the world is crazy right now. With that being said, with good mental health, great conversations can be initiated and have good experience in school and to prep them for lives that they have ahead. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my manifesto. If you have any inquiries or any questions on my manifesto, you can talk to me on Instagram. And if you have my phone number, please do not hesitate to ask me questions around this manifesto topic. Thank you for listening. Bye!